Hey, this is Matt once again. What about 10 videos that the paid request this time for Lucas? Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, even if it's just a random topic or whatever, PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Lucas sent in a topic, and I wanted to read this so I don't misconstrue. This is what the topic was. You have mentioned in videos you prefer the Punisher's mortality, I think he meant morality, of killing people than heroes like Spidey and Batman who don't. I was wondering if you could explain why you prefer the Punisher's no second chance method of life than the other heroes, and ask the following question: should heroes and vigilantes kill or not? I think what I meant by that is, there have been times I've talked about comic movies and superheroes where the type of movies I grew up with led more towards that type of stuff. Meaning, think of the movies I grew up with: Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Hard Target, Missing in Action, Commando, The Running Man. This type of stuff where you get in a one-on-one battle fight, you don't have to kill the motherfucker, and guess what? They ain't coming back. No sequel for you. That is usually much more of an interesting dynamic for me as a viewer, because a lot of times the villains that we're speaking of are people that have murdered innocent people, that have a chance to murder more innocent people, kill more innocent people, rape, pillage people, and giving them a second chance means that person, second, third, fourth, fifth person that has been killed, who are now having kids who are orphaned, people who don't have a mom, a dad anymore, a brother, a sister anymore, a son, or daughter anymore, because you had some moral fiber or ego or something else saying, well, no, I'm better than them. Now, let's take that a few steps back. In real life, because I'm pertaining then to usually with movies and entertainment. Those are just more of the type of movies I grew up with and enjoy. Death Wish 3, that type of thing. With the Willie Magnum. But it's kind of like a dilemma you have, for example, Magnum Force with Dirty Harry, which is my favorite Dirty Harry film, where Clint Eastwood kind of, he's on that tightrope of, he could be very, very close to these guys. In fact, the vigilante cops asked him to come join them, and they assume, yeah, it's Dirty Harry. But then Dirty Harry's like, yeah, I believe you've judged me wrong. You've misjudged me. They say in the line, a man's got to know his limitations. And there's that part of my brain that goes, yes, if you go on the style of a vigilante, there's always the question dilemma of how far can you take it? How far would you take it? Are we going to be killing people because of jaywalking or this and that? What if they are innocent? What if they're... For me, though, innocent until proven guilty. If you don't know, I get that part of the law. I do. And I agree with that part of the law. Because what if they didn't really do this? My line of thinking, though, is like, not all, but a lot of the Punisher stories. If you are someone, like, it's one thing if like a drug user, like, okay, when I say the Punisher morality, meaning I understand more of his ideals of, I don't want this person to murder someone else, so I better stop it before he does it. That's where I'm coming from. And I think for everybody, there's got to be a line to whether you kill or don't kill. I know people say, well, it never makes it better. Well, some people would say, Okay, imagine if the Manson group were killed before they did what they did. Well, then Sharon Tate and her baby and these other people would have lived. Like we knew Manson and his cult were murdering people before that. What if somehow someone found out, took them all out, because they're crazy, psychotic people willing to murder for love? That's so fucked in the head and crazy, and they brought nothing worth a shit to society. At least the ones who were willing and able and fine and had fun with glee doing it, I should say. Not the very, very few who said this is bonkers and left. I'm about that group of people that still stayed and killed and willing to kill. And what was one story? One wanted to die during orgasm, so the other shot him as they were orgasm, and she enjoyed it. It even lit some of the blood. Like, when you're that fucked up crazy, a bullet in the brain is what you get. Thank you for coming. Now go to hell. Thank you for coming. Now go to hell. I just think there are certain things, certain punishments that will fit the crime. And if you're someone who murdered, who did stuff to kids, who did stuff to women, like rape, 100% proven, with it, like, you filmed yourself better, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, then yeah, I think a certain Punisher way is a valid line of thinking for people who did that. And that's what I mean by I understand Punisher's morality on that sort. You know, people that are murdering with glee and are fine to murder everybody and are not really doing anything to better society, to better circumstance. And you know, people just say, well, what if that person could have a second chance? Forgive me for being a cynical guy. It's one thing if you're a thief and okay, give you a second chance, you've been to jail, you come out, okay, you'll work together in your life. Be a better man, have a life, family. That's one thing. If you're got into a fight, maybe you had to kill someone in self-defense, like you're Cameron Poe and Con Air, yeah, second chance, okay. If you're someone that with a knife decided to murder 4 people and be fine with it, those 4 people don't get a second chance, so I can't really feel bad for you. It's one thing if you could work to a movie because it's a work of fiction, and it just, obviously, we have to put that law into effect because people run rampant, and like everything else, people will take it too far, and even if there's part of it you think is a good cause, you would take it to such a ridiculous effect that if, let's say, 10 people, even if 8 of them went after the worst of the worst of the worst, there would still be, you know, those 2 people that would just, you threw that bubble gum, you threw that bubblegum wrapper, kind of like stuff you would see in Judge Dredd. You know, the comics and things where you go too far on that route. Again, like Madam Force, you go too far. And that's always the limit, but not everybody would showcase that limit, which is why you need a bit of law and order where, okay, in case those 2 or 3 out of 10 people go too far and go crazy with it, but you multiply that, you know, 30 out of 100 or 100 out of 300, just stop at the court, don't do it at all, and what you think is right or wrong, cops will take care of it to letter of the law. and sometimes proven guilty, even on people that you know 100% are guilty, like Victor Salva and some of these other people. There's a reason why the law and order exists the way it exists, because there would be other people in the real world, vigilantes, etc., that would if they would think they have good intentions and they go the absolutely wrong route and they take out people that do deserve a second chance, that didn't do any pain and suffering, or they really were, oh, this was an accident, it really was an accident. Like, for example, a car accident. Something happened with your car or something, even maybe even a point of drunk driving where you accidentally kill someone and you're just broken up, and you look at their life, you look at their punishment. Yeah, it's a complicated issue. It's a complicated issue. There's no simple answer. I'm going all over the place. I'm barely making any sense, I know. As a guy that views entertainment wise, I much prefer the R rated blood and guts battle royale. Because that's the stuff I grew up with in the 80s and 90s. Again, from the Rambo films, at least the sequels, to True Lies, to early Steven Seagal, Cyborg, the list goes on. Death Wish 3, those are more of the type of action entertainment I grew up with, more so than I like Superman and I like Batman, but I grew with the other stuff more. And for the most part, those are bad guys that deserve their fate. And because of the movie, you don't think of the other particulars of reality. You just enjoy the story for its entertainment value. In real life, again, heroes and vigilantes, you're more willing to be on the hero side because the full effect won't have the possibility of being worse. Being a hero, you save someone, you get them in jail. Okay, if there's copycats, if there's influences, they save someone, put someone in jail. And the error would be if, as a hero, they fucked up and they didn't know what they were doing, they got someone killed, or they get themselves killed. But still, you're trying to do the, quote, the right thing, the just thing, even though people say, of course, that's meant for cops. Although, let's be honest, there's some cops that you don't fucking trust either. Not all cops. I mean, my brother's a cop, so not all cops are bad. But sadly, that's a perfect example. There are some cops that fuck it for everybody. Let's say you had a group of vigilantes, and we get the worst of the worst, the massacre dwelling, soaking themselves in the blood of innocent terrorists. But what if you have some people that of that group that go off in their own single-minded ventures, and then they end up killing innocent people and completely defeating the whole purpose of doing this in the first place, and you fuck up for everybody. You fuck up for the whole group. Just like cops are meant to serve protect, but then you have some people that are, because their own selfish or their own mental, their own dirty deeds, they fuck up for everybody. But on the flip side, if I read, well, I was going to say read a newspaper, but it's 2023. What newspapers? If I looked online and I saw this vigilante took out this serial killer, and then the next week, well, he took out this arsonist who burned 11 people, and then he took out this rapist who went out who did this to 7 women and videotaped it and bragged about it, and a vigilante took those people out, I'd be shedding no tears. No tears for Caesar. No tears. I'd be like, okay, I get it. I can approve of it. And I think that's where my mentality goes with the Punisher, is that normally, at least in the comics I read, this isn't every comic, but in the comics of the Punisher I read and the movies I saw, the bad guys were that type of bad guys, and I get why the Punisher will want to do his deeds, because then when someone doesn't do it, that person goes on and murders, 8 other people. I'm like, those 8 other people would have been alive if you did it Frank Castle's way. So that's where my line of thinking goes. Like Kingpin. Do you really think Kingpin would shed a new leaf? Not really. Do I really think some of these other villains? Not really. Joker. I mean, if you're asking me which I would choose, Batman or Punisher, I'd probably choose Punisher's version of taking out Joker. I say that because I know there was a fake trailer someone made, like Punisher versus Joker or something. I'm like, I think I might prefer Punisher's version. And then people go, well, there's always someone that could replace him. Okay, yeah, maybe there's someone that could replace him, but this guy's still here doing this now. Murdering people. Okay, let's say this guy, Joker, murders 5 people. Maybe the new person comes in and he only murdered 2 people. Sadly, people got murdered, but he saved, that's still 3 extra people he saved. And then you go kill that motherfucker. And then, like fucking roaches. Infestation, you murder them all. So, like I say, it's a complicated issue. And that's the thing, is that even you have a mentality, it's like the best of movies that showcase it. Things can always be taken too far. Even like Demolition Man. Some of the notions of not having crime make sense. But then when you take it too far, no cursing, no this, no that, then it becomes much more of a stifling and less freedom. So there's always a balance of things that you gotta look into. It just, to me, I think once in a while, heroes is what usually you would want, I understand, but once in a while, a vigilante, I guess in the right vigilante's hands, so to speak, I could very, very much understand more of their mentality. And they're just much more fun to watch in a movie form. Again, movies, I would say I'm more of a Punisher movie fan than a Spider-Man movie fan. And I would say I'm much more of a, Rambo fan than a X-Men fan. Other than Wolverine once in a while gets to do some business. Just to be fair, some of the X-Men in the movies do kill as well, so maybe it's not a great comparison, but I don't know. It does make for an interesting discussion, and like I said, it's pretty complicated, but it's all about that balance. It's all about that balance. And sorry I didn't answer in such a... Sorry I answer in such a confusing manner, but that's like the best way I could describe it. But with that said, Thanks once again, Lucas. We will see you guys later. I guess the last thing I'll say, so I guess that though, is I can understand the morality of Spider-Man and Superman. I can understand that. I do. But I can very much understand the Punisher's morality. Which is, it's easy to say you understand Spider-Man and Superman's morality. Yeah, of course. It's like people go, oh, of course. But if you say you understand Punisher's morality, people look at you funny. People look at you as if you're crazy. People look at you as if you're insane. As if you're sick in the head. As if there's something wrong with you. I guess I could kind of say that out loud in past videos. They go, no, I get his morality. I can understand it. Whether people think it's right or wrong, I can understand it. And who knows? If what happened to me had happened to him and had the steals, who knows? But take that for what you will. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.